an original MCM production.
Morning, everyone. We'll call the meeting of the full commission to order. Will the commission secretary please call the roll?
Commissioner Bowl?
Here.
Commissioner Eli?
Here.
Commissioner Gramling?
Here.
Commissioner Johnson is expected. Commissioner Krieger?
Here.
Commissioner Manzanet?
Here.
Commissioner Martinsek? Here. Commissioner Perez is expected. Commissioner Swan?
Here.
Commissioner Hermes?
Here.
You have a quorum.
Thank you. Before we go any further in today's proceedings, we have a special presentation to make. Commissioner West, would you please come to the front?
Thank you, sir.
As I had noted during last meeting, commissioners, this is Commissioner West's last official meeting. Actually, last meeting was his last official meeting. This is his presentation meeting where we acknowledge his service over the last 9 years. Mike is terming out. Has been here, as I said, for 9 years. I've served with Mike over the course of many years, beyond the 9 years, in many capacities. This is only one of those capacities, but I know him as the village president of Fox Point, which he's just given up that seat as well. A former member of the Executive Council of MMSD, a commissioner here, and as a former village president myself. So in all of those capacities, I've known Mike to be nothing but a stalwart representative of every board, every commission that he's ever served on, a very thoughtful person, one that brings good points to the table, often with an exclamation point of a necessity to bring it to the table. And I think I've learned from him as well as all of you have learned from him, and all those who have served around him have learned something about being a dedicated, loyal public servant. And that's, you know, what Mike is. What you see is what you get with Mike. And he's nothing more or less than that. And that's what we should all expect from our public servants, I think. He served in a very reputable, fashionable way with class and dignity and style. I've always wondered, and this is a kind of a humorous point, I've always wondered about Mike. He always looks the same. No matter when you see him, he always looks the same. So I finally asked him last time at his retirement party up in Fox Point, I said, do you have like 5 sets of that? And he said, yes.
Sure.
Even when he goes to Canada.
So we have today the ultimate, nicest plaque that MMSD gives away, because Mike also served as chairman of this council prior to me. He was one of my predecessors as chairperson. I should have unwrapped this beforehand, but isn't that nice looking?
Very nice.
Nice.
Mike, it's on behalf of your community, the MMSD Executive Council, and this commission that we acknowledge your service here for the past 9 years. We'll miss you as a dedicated leader. We've all learned from you. Thank you for your service.
Thank you very much. I could hold this over my head like WWF. But I think you all know I've made no secret about the fact that I have absolutely loved being a commissioner on the MMSD Commission. And I think that you folks all share that enthusiasm. And so I really enjoyed working with my colleagues over the years, some changes, but I liked working with you all. And my hat's off to the executive director who is not in the chair where he belongs. But anyway, pass on my thanks to him and all the employees, and of course Scott and his team at Veolia. Everybody here makes everybody else look good, and that's a sort of a magic formula that I think we could all apply. So again, thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I'd be remiss if I didn't acknowledge another former commissioner in the room, too, Commissioner Leon Sarian, who served with us several years back.
Commissioner, we do need a motion and a second on that matter.
Mr. Gramley.
If allowed to make a motion on item 10 this morning, file 17-042-4, I would have a great honor and pleasure to move approval of the resolution commending Commissioner Michael West for meritorious service and leadership.
Second.
Thank you. The motion's appropriately made and seconded. Is there discussion further upon this motion? I wouldn't think so. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? This motion has passed and is so noted. Thank you again, Commissioner. All right, moving on to our regular agenda. Approval of the regular proceedings, regular commission meeting held March 27th, 2017, and the special commission meeting held April 10, 2017. Both could be considered as a block motion should the commission wish.
I'll move for approval of the minutes.
Both sets?
Both sets, yes.
I'll second.
Thank you. Are there additions or corrections to the minutes? On the motion to approve the minutes, both sets, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Is there any opposed? The minutes are so approved. Next up is the Operations Committee report.
Good morning.
Sorry. The Operations and Maintenance report for March 2017 with the Pat and Scott Royer, please.
Good morning, Commissioners.
Good morning.
Patrick Obanoff, District's Manager of Contract Compliance.
Scott Royer, General Manager for Veolia.
With the Operations and Maintenance report for March 2017. In March, we were in full compliance with our Wisconsin Pollutant Discharge Elimination System permit. Veolia was in full compliance with the Operations and Maintenance agreement. There were no combined sewer or separate sewer overflows, either in March or year-to-date, and our percent capture 100%.
Okay, this table shows the influent and effluent characteristics of both water reclamation facilities, and both are within their normal parameters. This shows Jones Island effluent biochemical oxygen demand and total suspended solids performance in comparison to the permit limits and the contract limits over the last 13 months. And we're well below both limits. This shows South Shore effluent BOD and TSS. And again, we're well below the contract limit. This shows both Jones Island and South Shore effluent fecal coliform, and we're well below the contract limit. This shows Jones Island effluent total phosphorus, and again, over the last 13 months, we're shape. And then this shows the South Shore effluent phosphorus performance relative to the 6-month permit limit. And again, we're well below the 6-month limit.
Moving into the conveyance and storage system. You can see we've had a little bit wetter year in 2017 so far than we did last year, with above average precipitation in each month so far. We had 3 events that put 428 million gallons of sewage into the tunnel. We did not have any combined sewer or separate sewer events, overflow events. And just a graphical showing the precipitation again, where you can see each month has been above average so far. And then moving into biosolids production and inventory, the green line shows the product requested by the district's marketing group. The orange line shows the cumulative production to date from Veolia, where you can see the spring season is where there's a high demand for our product. Production can't quite keep up with it, whereby we draw material out of the silos, out of our storage, to try to meet that demand. We ended the month with 1,534 tons of product in the silos, which is well below our maximum silo inventory of 10,000 tons.
This shows maintenance backlog for preventive maintenance work orders and corrective maintenance work orders over 90 days. We have been working on the corrective maintenance work orders over 90 days, and we're getting back to our normal range at this point. And this shows safety performance over the last 13 months. We didn't have any safety incidents in the month of March.
I just wanted to go back and point out on the maintenance metric. Last month when we reported, Veolia was not sure if they would meet the metric for March. They did an outstanding job of pulling in resources to get below the limit and meet that metric. I just wanted to thank Scott for all the work that they put in towards the end of March.
Questions from the commission? Thank you, gentlemen.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Now, the Operations Committee report. Commissioner Krieger, would you lead us through that, please?
Yes, good morning. The Operations Committee did meet and considered one item and one item only. File number 17-033-4, which is a continuation of the stream flow gauging cooperative agreement with the Southeastern Wisconsin Regional Planning Commission. The matter was recommended for approval to the full commission, and unless there's any questions, I'm going to make a motion to approve this item. Second by Commissioner Martinsek, so it's properly moved. Oh, I'm sorry.
All right, the motion's made, the second has occurred. Is there further discussion upon this item? Seeing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The motion is carried. Commissioner Krieger.
That concludes the business of the Operations Committee for today.
Thank you. Policy, Personnel, and Finance Committee report. Mr. Manzanetti, would you lead us through that, please?
Thank you, Chair. The Policy, Finance, Personnel Committee did meet. There were 4 items discussed and recommended for approval. But I am going to make a motion to take items 2, 3, and 4 in bulk as a motion, as item number 5 requires 2/3 affirmative vote from the full commission.
Motion is made. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Ely. Is there further discussion upon this item? See none. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion is carried. The items are approved.
Item number 5, 17-037-4, authorizing the transfer of funds in the 2016 operations and maintenance budget and the transfer funds in the 2016 capital budget. It's a motion that was recommended for approval, but requires 2/3 affirmative vote. I'll make the motion.
Motion, second?
Second.
By Commissioner Swanson. Is there further discussion upon this item? Will the Commission Secretary please call the roll?
Commissioner Bohl?
Aye.
Commissioner Eli?
Aye.
Commissioner Gramling?
Aye.
Commissioner Johnson?
Aye.
Commissioner Krieger?
Aye.
Commissioner Manzanet?
Aye.
Commissioner Martinsek?
Aye.
Commissioner Perez?
Aye.
Commissioner Swan?
Aye.
Commissioner Hermes?
Aye. The motion is carried. Is there further report from the Personnel Policy and Finance Committee.
That concludes our report. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you. Organizational and Administration, Kevin's over in Spain today. Mike, you got anything to give us this morning?
Yes, we have a couple items. Mike Martin, Director of Technical Services, acting for Kevin while he's out. First, we have some staff recognition this morning. See Mitch Olds. Mitch, do you want to stand? Mitch is one of our freshwater monitoring specialists in our water quality division. And he's also our boat captain, and he was recently got elected a position in a professional organization. Mitch was elected as Director at Large for the American Water Resources Association, Wisconsin section. AWRA, American Water Resources Association, mission is to advance water resource education, management, and research. So as a Director at Large, Mitch will serve on the board of directors and help manage affairs of the section, including administration, program development, and supervision of financial affairs. So this is another example of district staff and things that we do that often go unseen. We want to recognize Mitch for that, for the work that he's done for the AWRA. So,
thank you, Mitch.
Thanks, Mitch. Second item is I think Kevin's discussed with the commission changing the how we report on items, and this will be our first for the year. It's called the Clear Quarterly Report, and Mickey, I believe, is going to lead in, and I believe it's recorded. So.
It is. You're taking all my talking points here, Mike. Good morning, Mickey Pearsall, Deputy Director of Finance, and as Mike just indicated, we have been talking for several months now about changing the way that we provide information to the commission, and all of the status reports, most if not all of the status reports that the commission previously received in oral format are going to be consolidated under the CLEAR umbrella on a quarterly basis. And CLEAR, again, stands for collaborative, lean and efficient, accountable, and resilient. So this umbrella contains a lot of diverse information, and it's going to be presented in a very high level but hopefully succinct manner. But if you do have additional questions, staff will be available, and the written reports will also be available if you want to read through that information too. And one more thing I just want to say as we go through this transition during 2017, if you do have any feedback on the information or the format in which it's presented, please do provide that to us so we can make sure that you are getting the appropriate amount of information and what you want to know more about. So with that, I'm going to hopefully trigger off this first recorded presentation, and I just want to give thanks to Christine Durkin, who did the recording. She's a budget staff. Bill Graffin in communications normally does that, but he was off last week, so Christine figured it out, and I think she did a very good job. So with that, we'll start.
Property Effluent Infiltration Reduction Program. We've had 5 new work plans submitted in the last 6 months from 5 separate municipalities. Construction on 1,239 properties represented in those work plans for a total value of $2.2 million. To date in the program, there's $45.6 million available to the municipalities. Of that, they've requested $27 million through work plan approvals. The total dollar amount reimbursed to the municipalities for work completed is $16.5 million. Looking ahead through 2017, we will be presenting to the Commission a contract for engineering services to the district. This will be an extension of the engineering services that we've provided in the past for the municipalities as well as for the district. We did hire a new support person that will be conducting field activities as well as office activities to replace a retiring position, and ongoing metering and projects completed so we can continue to collect data on the progress we're making on I&I reduction.
MMSD has created 6 outreach goals to guide our work and to ensure that our efforts align with the strategic plan. To accomplish these goals, collaborating with other organizations is essential. We will be placing greater emphasis on leveraging and broadening the reach of MMSD initiatives by building on successful collaborations and developing new and potentially long-term partnerships.
Following up on a stellar 2016 sales year, where an all-time high of $9.1 million in revenue was achieved, 2017 and started out on a strong note as well. First quarter results were the highest on record. Changes in product specifications have not appeared to hamper demand from customers. Short and long-term challenges still rest on adequate supply of product and an ever-changing regulatory landscape. As of the end of the first quarter, total district purchasing awards stand at just under $11.2 million. Awards to small, women, veteran, and minority-owned businesses count for 19% of the total available spend towards the goal of 20%. 100% of construction bids issued for the period had local worker requirements, but due to circumstances of the individual projects, did not focus on apprenticeship utilization. Close to $6 million of our quarterly spend went to businesses within the district service area. $7.2 million of that total spend went to businesses within the southeastern Wisconsin region.
The district welcomed 10 new employees in the first quarter. MMSD strives to be a leader in attracting and retaining a skilled workforce. Competitive salaries and benefits, as well as programs that promote a healthy work-life balance for employees, are key to maintaining a resilient workforce.
Question from the commission? Thank you, Mickey.
And if there's any feedback for the commissioners, just get that back to staff, and we can adjust as going forward. The last item I have is the district received an award from the North Central Minority Supplier Development Council's 2017 Wisconsin Local Corporation of the Year. This council represents minority businesses across the upper Midwest states, and the award recognizes the corporation that has best evidence its commitment to minority business development in the last year. So we have a very nice piece of hardware, and as I looked at it this morning, I noticed there are a pair of white gloves that accompany it. So it's a clear glass, so if you do want to touch it, you must use the white gloves.
No other gloves will suffice.
Exactly. Yeah. So I put them on and tried them, and the gloves fit.
Wow.
So. Also, this is the recognition itself. I'm sorry, this is a recognition from Congresswoman Gwen Moore, and then also a note from Senator Tammy Baldwin congratulating the district for its performance. So pass those around. And I believe that's all we have.
Okay, on that note, though, on the matter of awards, and it's noteworthy that Kevin is not here today, by the way, and I think that we can all never recall a meeting that Kevin would miss in a commission meeting, nor a committee meeting. He's just that way, he's that dedicated, and he probably feels a little guilty today that he's in Spain and not here. However, it's under quite an occasion. I mentioned it several commission meetings ago, and Kevin kind of got mad at me for mentioning it because I guess it was supposed to be confidential. But Kevin's over in Madrid accepting an award or an acknowledgement that MMSD, as a utility, has been named one of the top utilities in the world. That's the globe, folks. And that's pretty big stuff. Now, in that regard, I'd obviously like to acknowledge our great staff. I know Kevin would. He always defers to the staff and the employees of MMSD. Veolia's had a big part in this. Thank you for that. That's one of the great partnerships of public-private partnerships, I think, or privatization that exists in the globe, is this partnership between Veolia and MMSD. I'd like to also acknowledge the commission, though, and their leadership and your promotion and leadership in getting the great ideas out there, and your leadership in fostering those, this great work that MMSD has been doing. So I'm very proud of it. I'm sure the rest of you are very proud of it. The employees should be proud of it, Veolia, certainly. I know Commissioner West on his way out is very proud of and has been a very big part of this. Thank you to all of you for that great work. Okay. No further business, Mike?
No.
Thank you. Then we'll accept a motion to adjourn.
Second.
Thank you. On the motion to adjourn, signify by saying aye.
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 Any opposed? We are adjourned. Thank you.
An MCM production.